Star Trek, TNG, everybody. Welcome back to Newbie Star Trek. I'm Marvin, and I am joined here, as usual, by Ricardo and Dan. Say hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Hello, I am the newbie.
Oh, yeah, it's true. We're not always clear about that, are we?
No.
Yeah, we had a clear explanation in the first episode, and after that, we were like, yeah.
If you're a new listener, I've never seen these episodes. Watching them for the first time, these are virgin eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he only saw one episode by accident.
Yeah.
Early on, but that's about it. I don't even remember which one that was.
Data lore.
Data lore, right.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you guys have been listening since our first episode, thank you. It's been quite awesome. If you've been liking it so far, maybe you could check out our listing at Apple Podcasts and give us a review. That would really help us a lot with our metrics, because it turns out that just the act of leaving a review, regardless of what it is, apparently immensely helps the podcast for visibility. So I don't know. On top of that, if you guys, we're also posting promos and stuff. You can find us in Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. Just look for Newbie Star Trek on those platforms. But anyway, today's episode, it's probably the first totally standard non-racist episode.
Yeah.
Star Trek TNG, where no one has gone before. I'm not wrong, right?
No, you're not.
Yeah.
This is like the first one that feels like you're just settling into a groove here.
We're just watching a standard episode where no one has gone before. It seems pretty, what is it? Pretty
boilerplate.
Yeah, boilerplate. And also, it makes sense that the first one that seems pretty boilerplate is where no one has gone before, right? It's a fairly standard crazy shit happens to the ship episode, and then we transport away, and then Wesley is...
I do have one major problem with the episode, and it does have something to do with Wesley, but I guess we'll get to that.
Well, yeah, we'll
get to it.
In fact, it kind of makes the episode unbearable in at least one way.
It's definitely the worst part of the first season.
Yeah.
So this episode aired in October 26th of 1987, just 5 days before Halloween. So Dan, could you please give us a potential summary of what was going on at that time?
Well, Halloween was around the corner, but I have no news about that. Here we go. So that week saw the release of the very first release of the PC Engine in Japan, which was a video game system developed by Hudson Soft and NEC.
Yeah.
But that was almost 2 whole years before it ever saw the US shores. And over here, it was called the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah.
And everyone knows and loves this console because everyone loves Bonk, right? Yeah, Bonk.
Oh, yeah.
As a poser, I did not even really know that much about the library until it came out in the Wii Shop.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Look at all these. What are these TurboGrafx games? These look cool.
Man, they look like Super Nintendo games that never were.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It was just on the Wii's Virtual Console, just putting some stuff on the out of history. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, I always inject video games forcibly into this podcast. I'm sorry.
As you should.
John Carpenter's The Prince of Darkness released in theaters over that weekend.
Oh, okay.
And I actually happened to look up a trailer for it. And the best thing about it is that it ends with the actual title of the movie, breaking through glass to attack the character. Like the letters cut out of the glass. It's pretty great.
I haven't seen that one. Have you seen that one, Ricardo?
I have.
What? I don't even know what it's about.
I love all of John Carpenter's work, except the latter movies have not been the best. But
I thought you were about to say, except The Thing.
The Thing is a piece of shit movie. I don't know why everyone no. Ghost of Mars. Ghost of Mars is
Ghost of Mars
my
is
least.
Yeah, that's a fire.
Yeah.
All right, and I have one last tidbit about history, and this is actually pretty historical here. 3 days prior, on October 23rd, 1987, the U.S. Senate had just rejected Ronald Reagan's Supreme Court nominee, Judge Robert Bork, and it was notably the very first time a Supreme Court nomination was followed by mainstream news media, as well as the last known rejection of a Supreme Court nominee by the Senate in an official capacity, as of this recording, but likely to remain so well after this recording.
Timely.
So,
What a
It
coincidence.
just stuck out at me.
For some reason.
No reason. Just seemed pretty
Star Trek is
interesting.
definitely not about politics at all.
Oh, hell no. Bring on the lasers.
Yeah.
Bring on the lasers and spaceships.
And the dark side?
Yeah. The phaser sabers.
Have you guys noticed?
Wesley, I am your father.
Have you guys noticed that a lot of these, the names of these episodes could be also names for pornos? The Naked Now, Code of Honor, The Last Outpost. If you know what I mean? Where no one has gone before. I know where that is. Lonely Among Us. Oh my god, all these. Oh, the battle. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All these. Data lore, for sure.
Data X lore.
Yeah.
You know, oh man. Where no one has gone before.
Hey, remember slash fiction's origins?
Oh yeah.
Spock and Kirk and Spock.
They did have a very deep friendship, and like it devastated
the
Kirk
deepest.
Oh yeah, deep in.
Yeah. Where no one has gone before.
Inside a Vulcan.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you guys.
Talk about a nerve pinch.
Oh, he's very good with those fingers.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Where no one has gone before. The crazy space adventure to the edge of the universe, unfortunately centered around Wesley to some degree. Ricardo, having seen the episode, could you...
Okay, let's start it off, dude. I have some notes. First of all, I want to say that when I saw Wesley in this, I was like, oh, fuck, this bitch ass fucking guy is in this episode. I thought he was gone forever. I thought we got rid of him in the last episode. And no, he's back. I'll say this. This turned out to be one of my favorite episodes so far.
Oh,
interesting.
Because it deals with this topic. It deals with the fact that, like, I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably already saw the episode, or you're a Star Trek fan, so I'm not spoiling anything. The alien that's on board that eventually, like, when he's dying, he tells him, I want to bring this up now because it's a big theme and it's important. And I think that's why I love the episode, is that when the alien's like dying, he says, like, well, Kirk is like, we've never heard of your kind of people. Like, how come there's no record of you? And he basically says, oh, you basically weren't worthy. Humans weren't worthy. And I live by that. Like, literally, I'm like, when people say, oh, you know, it's like, even jokingly, like, oh, all we need is alien invasion, or like, I believe aliens have visited us. I'm like, no, they haven't. We're fucking stupid. Humans are so fucking stupid. Just look around politics, what's happening right now. Humans are so unevolved that they wouldn't even bother with us. We're like idiots. Just they come down here, they're like, dude, these people wipe their fucking ass with toilet paper still. Can you believe that? Hundreds of years of technology. They don't use seashells. They're using their hands like fucking animals.
They're pooping. They're still pooping. They haven't figured out how to stop that.
Yeah.
They
just
haven't
completely absorb what you ingest. What the hell?
Yeah. They put organic material in their mouth.
Yeah. Like a carbon.
Swallow it. What the fuck
Carbon's
is this?
in like almost every single one of your cells. What the fuck?
They're like, they haven't figured out how to vaporize. And I love this episode, and it just, the themes it dealt with, I was really into. It kind of got me in a deep level. Like, I was like, oh man, this is what I struggle with every fucking day in the morning.
All right, so you're big into the insignificance of mankind in the universe.
Oh yeah, dude. I think that we don't matter. Like, I think we're very. I mean, every day I wake up, I'm like, nothing matters. What the fuck are we doing this for? This is bullshit.
I mean, it's like pale blue dot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had a similar version of the discussion before. Where I brought up
Roadside Picnic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and where it's just very much like,
yeah,
like aliens would just probably think of us like, those are some gross ants on a planet. Let's not get near it, you know.
Yeah, there's
when
that
those ants start like doing interesting things, maybe we should take a look.
Yeah.
But right now, they're just gross.
Yeah.
I'm also reminded of a Calvin and Hobbes comic where Calvin looks up at the stars and he's like, sometimes, Hobbes, I think the surest sign of intelligent life in the universe is that none of us try to reach out and contact us.
That's really good.
yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
But yeah, that's what I really. I just wanted to start off by saying that kind of got me at like, my core, which is like nothing fucking matters. This is all bullshit. And like something that I struggle with like every morning. Like you're like, oh, this is a thing I got to get through. This existential angst I didn't know I was going to have as a fucking adult. But here we go.
Don't worry. If it goes too far, you can just start hassling Lebowski.
Yeah, that's true. But all right, back to the episode, back to real life, not my goddamn mornings. They're the captain. He's on the bridge, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on today, man? What's the haps?" And Riker's like, "Yeah, these dudes." I think Riker asks, and Patrick Stewart's like, "Well, these dudes, they're going to come aboard our ship, and they're going to run some tests on the hyperdrive and see if they can improve it." Yeah, the warp core. And they're like, "Well, what the fuck they got to do? This is a brand new fucking ship." Or
and
like,
we looked at their calculations. It's nonsense. He basically just wrote down a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, this is fucking gibberish. This doesn't mean anything. But Luke's like, nah, we got to let these guys fucking on and see what happens. And of course, that's how every adventure starts.
Yeah.
And they let these two dudes come in. And one of them's a human, and he
Kaczynski.
is Kaczynski, yeah. And he is, and so you have Riker and Deanna Troy that go
Deanna Troy,
yeah.
And the chief engineer,
yes.
who's like, I forget his name.
If it were a later season, this definitely would have just been O'Brien.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would have been O'Brien or just LaForge.
Yeah,
Geordi. Yeah, it's just, but it's
His
some
name-
guy. I don't even remember. Is that his name? Argyle? I don't even remember his name.
I think Argyle might be right. But I do want to mention that Mr. Kaczynski, he looks like Chris Kattan's older brother.
Well, he looks like Chris Kattan. If Chris Kattan and Armand Desante had a baby, that's what it would look like. Armand. I don't even know if that's the name. Yeah, Armand Asante. He's a very specific actor. If you look him up, you're like, oh my god, this guy. He was in Judge Dredd. He was in Judge Dredd, and he looks a lot like this guy. I even had to look him up and go, is this fucking Armand? But anyway.
Yeah, he's got the look where I thought like he's someone that I've seen before.
Yes,
I don't know who.
I know this is only going to derail things, but I'm looking up his picture, and he looks to me like a mix between Adam West and Scott Baio.
He does. Armand Asante, who is not in this episode of Star Trek.
Okay, I'm just going to say this right now. Every celebrity can be summarized as a combination of two other celebrities.
Yes, I agree.
You did this a lot during our Max Payne playthrough, where you're just
sure did.
Yeah, Max Payne looks like one of these 10 guys, depending on the angle and expression.
It's true. Humans, we all look alike.
So
insignificant we are.
Yeah. So these two guys, the human Kaczynski and this traveler or alien, get beamed up, and you got Troy, Riker, and the chief engineer. And they go meet them at the what is it? The holodeck? Is that what they call it?
Oh, it's the teleporter room.
Whatever.
The transporter room. Gotta say transporter, man.
Yeah. Oh, right. I always say, because I have a problem with the term transporter. A transporter could be literally anything, whereas a teleporter very clearly defines that it teleports you. But the official term is indeed the transporter room.
The transporter is there's only one transporter, and he's British.
Yeah. And he kicks down doors and saves
My issue
Chinese
with the word
women.
teleporter, though, is that to me it always feels like it should be instant, and transporting is not.
No.
Takes
no, it's not. Yeah. I mean, like anime teleporting is instant, but Star Trek.
Nothing personnel, kid.
Instant is like Nightcrawler, like Nightcrawler from the X-Men.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
All right. So these 30 people go meet him, and I noticed that they're waiting in the room, in the transporter room, whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. And then you see a Riker and Troy and the engineer, and they're standing right next to each other.
I know, they're so really close. Yeah,
for no reason. I was like, that room looks so big. There's so much room, and they're like,
only for the framing. That's the only reason. And it's just like, it couldn't just pull back the camera a bit. Because if you look at the shot carefully, where they're all standing together, like Argyle is definitely directly behind Riker and can't possibly be having like an eye line.
No, he cannot see these people who just beamed up. He can't.
Look, it's to spare the viewers without object permanence.
Yeah.
You have to have everyone on screen at all times, or else are they even there?
Can you just back up the camera like another foot?
Literally, and
use a wider lens. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
No, man, there was no space.
But
there's no space in Star Trek.
Yeah, there's no space in space. And that was the first thing I noticed, that they're really close together. Yeah. And then they beam up, and Kaczynski's wearing like a Starfleet like uniform.
Yeah.
And then this alien's wearing fucking pajamas.
He's literally pajamas.
He's literally the sleepy fucking alien. And then he's like, my name's Kaczynski. Yeah, I know everything, and I'm a dick. I'm so smart.
He's such a dick.
Yeah. He's a huge asshole. Yeah. Like, comically so.
Yeah. And then the alien's like, and they're like, well, what the fuck is your name, pal? And he's like, I don't have a name because, dude, you can't pronounce it. You humans, you can't hear it. It's not a name that humans can pronounce. Which is a
bullshit answer, because like, if you can't pronounce it, just be like,
then make up
call you Larry.
Name. Yeah, you're like, Tim from now on. Tim, the fucking weird ass pajama guy.
We'll call you PJ.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, PJ, the pajama dude.
PJ the traveler.
Yeah, and we can't wear. I don't see what shoes he's wearing. They don't show them, but he's probably wearing slippers. And this guy, he beams up, and he's got like some weird knots on his head, like someone like bonked him over the head. Yeah. And for a minute there, I thought, oh, wait a minute, could this be a future Wesley? You know what I mean? Like a sort of like he kind of came back to visit himself. Like I had all these theories from the beginning, and
that's
then
a really fucking interesting theory.
That would be interesting. I could see Wesley growing up to be a bald monster
and only wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
Well, especially like if he's dealing with like a lot of like radiation and shit, you know, like that could happen.
Also, it's Star Trek. Like there's a point where a lot of episodes literally has magic happening. Like the last Outpost was like, it's just magic. Yeah. Right? Like there's no real explanation for what's going on. So like anything could. There's an episode of Voyager where fucking Janeway and Tom Paris just turned into lizards.
And there's another episode coming up in season 2 where they end up in like this like hotel saloon. And it's a bunch of ghosts.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You'll forget by the time we reach it. Don't worry. I'm only going to say that once.
And they from the beginning of the episode. So after they beam up and the pajama dude like says, you can't say my name. Just don't call me by anything. And it's like, well, you're kind of a dick because we have to call you by something. What if there's two of your kind here? What do we go like thing 1 and thing 2? Like what the fuck, dude? Pick a name and stick to it. Very rude. And then they go to the engineering room, and Wesley's like fucking around with and I'm like, oh, here we go, Wesley fucking around with things. After he almost killed everybody, they're gonna let him back. He's still touching things.
He's just doing like homework apparently.
Like an animal
school project.
Yeah, and it's funny because like that's where the alien, that's like the console the alien uses. It's like, why the fuck, if this was so important, why is this kid fucking touching it? This fucking maniac. And so the alien shows up and he sees Wesley, and immediately he fucking is all over him like some weird pedophile.
They're both like lovers instantly. Like, Wesley like loves him. Yeah. And like by the end of the episode, they're holding hands.
Yeah.
Fucking Frodo and Samwise Gamgee didn't hold hands.
Yeah.
These guys held hands in 20 minutes.
Yeah. So. They knew each other for 20 minutes and they were in love. And this is where the fuck you Wesley starts. Where from this point on, every time like Wesley pipes up, they're like, "Shut up, fuck you, dude."
Yeah,
tell me the story later, you bitch. Everybody does it to him, and I was enjoying it. But so like that guy gets on the console that Wesley was on. The pajama man gets on it, and then the Kaczynski goes over here, and he's like, "Well, I'm too smart. You don't understand shit. Back the fuck up. I don't have time to explain to you guys." And he's just really cocky and shit, and an idiot, really.
I have that clip here, so let me show that.
You're right. In order to save myself time, let me ask those questions for you. You received the information which Starfleet provided. You fed it into your computer as precisely as humanly possible. Then you did a controlled test, and then, to your astonishment, nothing happened. So you said, "What's going on? This doesn't work. Kaczynski's a fraud." You see, I have had this conversation on other Starfleet vessels before. They didn't understand it. Why should you?
Surely you're not saying it's unexplainable.
I am saying I'm not a teacher, nor do I wish to become one. I have neither the inclination nor the time.
You have all the time you need.
I don't think you understand. This has already been approved by Starfleet Command.
But it hasn't been approved by the chief engineer or by me.
I didn't know that was necessary.
Now you do.
Perhaps I should speak to Captain Picard.
If you like, it won't change anything.
Good job, Riker.
How basic shall
Nice
I be?
going, Will.
I'll leave that to you.
So that's
You got the best line out of this whole exchange, which is how basic should I be? And I wanted to say basic as fuck, dude.
basic as bitch.
You know what gets me in hindsight about that whole exchange is that it's revealed that he's a complete fraud, didn't know what the fuck he was doing anytime, and like the Traveler was pretty much doing everything for him. So when he like outlines the sequence of events that he's used to seeing, it's like, well, you entered my bullshit gibberish and nothing happened, and I'm not going to explain anything. But like, how dense can you be to not realize that you're not understanding anything? Like every single time, it's a goddamn fluke.
Apparently, so I did some digging into the Kaczynski character because I was trying to figure out the actor and where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, he in like extended whatever and whatnot, and in earlier versions of the script, he actually does understand. Like he doesn't provide nothing. He actually has some ideas about warp technology that does do improvements, but it doesn't lead to this. So I think what happened is that somehow, this is one part I also don't quite understand, is that how did the Federation just be like, Kaczynski, you're getting some amazing results. Yeah. By the way, who's your assistant? I don't know. He just showed up one day.
Yeah.
We can't pronounce his name.
I have
We
no
can't
clue
pronounce his
where the
name.
hell he came from.
We
What
can't,
do you-
we
what do you
can't
call him?
classify him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't. We don't know what his name is. Well, we don't know what his species of origin is. But he showed up one day and started helping, and then Federation was like, "Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. Can you just do that on a bunch of other ships? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why would?"
Also, this guy's not wearing uniform. Like they just
he's-
let any random Joe just fucking on a ship and like just start pushing buttons. Like this guy. First of all, he says, "This is my assistant," and they're like, "Oh, cool. That's fine. Pajama Man's your assistant. That's fine.
That's
We
fine,
accept that.
yeah,
We accept
yeah.
that." And then he's like, well, why can't one of us do it?" And he's like, "Well, he's just too fast. No
Yeah,
human
he's
can be
faster
as
than
fast."
even me.
And then you look at his fingers. You're like, this guy's got penguin fingers.
Yeah, he's got
penguin
Batman
fingers.
Returns penguin
Yeah.
fingers.
How is this guy faster than a fucking human?
And
If they
every
wanted to
movement of his is like really slow. Like
Yeah, he's like a
the
turtle.
The actor himself seems unintelligent.
I wish they sped it up like how they sped up
Yeah.
for Data when he was putting in the chips.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, like why not just do that really quick on his
This
hands?
man is a turtle penguin. He has the speed of a turtle and the hands of a fucking penguin, and he's doing all these moves and super slow, by the way. Super slow. And I'm thinking, if they wanted to portray speed, not only could they sped up the video, but also like, why not give him like 10 fingers in each hand? Why not? Like that way you're like, oh, of course, this guy's got fucking 20 fingers. That's why he's fast.
Or just have him like look like he's typing.
Or
Like,
anything.
that alone would have done something.
Make him
right?
do anything besides hold the sides of the console.
Yeah, and press like a button every 10 seconds. Going,
Yeah.
That's it.
And so old Pajama Man is on there, and then the basic as fuck bitch is like, yeah, let me move this, throw it into warp, just throw it into 6th gear, and I'll do the rest, guys. And they're like, fine, let's do it, let's throw it into warp speed, and then let this guy do his thing, which is a weird thing to do. It's like saying like, look, I'm gonna get this car to go a lot faster, but first let's get this car up to 100 miles an hour. and then I'll get off and fix the engine. No, that's not how you fucking fix things.
Star Trek engines are mysterious.
Yeah.
You have to go fast to go faster.
Yeah.
To be fair, in the world of Star Trek, warp 1.5 is quite like pedestrian.
That's true. That's true.
Like warp, even though warp 1 is the speed of light. So in the world of Star Trek, they achieve that by doing First Contact. You know the movie First Contact?
Yes.
When the guy does that's warp 1.
Okay.
So like warp 10, which is like apparently what they go beyond, is like going back in time, which is what happens in the TOS movies where like they have to slingshot around the sun to go fast enough to go back in time.
Yeah.
That's that. But it's basically they're saying, hey, while you're like drifting along. I'm going to ghost ride your whip as I work the engine.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys don't worry. I got this. Well, we're going really fast. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We can go faster. Let me throw some of this fucking.
I'll put
Vin
some
Diesel
nitro in
nods.
while you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be wrenching at this piston as it goes.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of if Dom Toretto was like, yeah, you know, we're going really fast. I'm gonna get off and fucking fix the engine so it goes faster. And so they start going really fucking fast and like a lot
Ludicrous
of squigglies.
speed.
Yeah,
it's
ludicrous
true,
speed.
actually.
A lot of squigglies are going by. A lot of circles. A lot of whoosh,
Gets all
whooshes.
2001 for a minute.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And then they stop. And then Luke's like, yeah, slow that shit down, dude. We're going too fast. And then Data or Geordi's like, no one's ever done that before. And he's like, yeah, slow this fucking thing down. We're going way too fast.
Yeah.
And then they slow it down. And then they're like, where the fuck are we? And and they're like, we don't know. Like we're like we blew past like 3, 4, 5 fucking galaxies a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it turns out, oh god, I dropped a bunch of shit. And it turns out I got really excited with my hands and I just started knocking over things. And it's funny because no one's looking at me, but I'm still moving my hands like if people were here.
I appreciate now people know, so now they're going to imagine you just flailing your hands as you're going,
Flailing
what the
my
fuck
hands.
is happening?
Now you're a real person.
Yeah.
Now you're real.
Yeah. I'm not just a newbie. I'm a real boy.
Yep.
And so they're like, fuck, where the hell are we? And we don't know. We've never been here. And I agree with like Data and like Geordi, which is like that they suggest like, well, we've never been here before. We should really fucking explore this. And I'm like 100%. Like
Take a look
even
around,
Yeah, take a look around. And what if we cannot get back? Then that's fine. It's better to look around and see if there's any goddamn like inhabitable planets that we could fucking.
I did really like that moment where, like because of Data, everyone's been like, well, actually, this is kind of sick. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love that moment in general because it's another classic Picard moment of I would like everyone's opinion and everyone gives a different. It's a clip I pulled here.
Comment is invited. Counselor.
He's convinced he's right. I've no doubt of that.
Because this is shortly after Kaczynski
Can you allow
said
a man who's made one mistake back into a position where he may make another?
Captain, what are our options really? I mean, if this guy can't get us back, who will?
Captain, we're here. Why not avail ourselves of this opportunity for study?
Yeah.
There is a giant protostar here in the process of forming. No other vessel has been out this far.
Spoken like a true Starfleet graduate. It is tempting, eh, number one?
Aye, sir, it is. But as they say, sir, you're the captain.
I know that if Kaczynski can get us home, Starfleet can use his technique to bring back a pure science vessel. Do even more.
I love that conclusion.
Number one, tell Kaczynski to prepare to get us out of here.
Aye, sir.
Well, it's a good conclusion, but it's also he's definitely trying to search for a good reason to go back because they definitely want to go back. Like they're kind of scared that they're out there.
Yeah, but it's so pragmatic. I can't help but love it.
Yeah, it's a very pragmatic reason for why they want to go back. And it would have kind of been they did miss the opportunity because they can't go back because it wasn't up to Kaczynski. So but it would have been interesting to see a star being formed. That would have been cool.
It was just a psychedelic, cooler universe they ended up in with more color.
They ended up in that universe where Ant-Man goes to. What is it called?
The quantum realm.
Yeah, actually, that is the first thing I said out loud while watching. It's quantum realm,
or as I call it, the buttworm planet. Buttworm dimension.
The tardigrades.
And so then they're like, well, we gotta get back. We can't. Well, if we get back and then we figure out how to do this again, then we'll send like a actual science party to like come over here and study this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But not us. Not today, Satan. And he goes back and he's like, Kaczynski, you gotta get us back, man. And then at this point, old Wesley is like gonna tell Riker like, well, he was phasing like the first time we went really fast.
Yeah.
I don't think this man is well, or whatever they call him.
Right before that, it's weird because it's like he has this secret conversation with the Traveler, and it's odd. It's like no one goes like because the Traveler is also his assistant, right? So shouldn't people be like trying to talk to him? But it's weird. Like the Traveler and Wesley go in like a secret nook and just start talking privately, why would that be happening? I feel like people like Riker should be like, Wesley, we're really in a lot of trouble right now. Can you leave?
Yeah.
And we'll talk to the traveler and ask.
Can you please not interrupt the man with all the knots on his forehead that seems to have penguin hands?
Yeah.
Please walk away.
He's
from
already
him.
having a really hard time. Let's leave him alone. And I don't know.
This man doesn't even have a name. He woke up and came here in his pajamas. And so Wesley's like he wants to talk to Riker, and he's like, hey, something's going on with this dude. And then Riker's like, Wesley, I don't want to hear this story right now. Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here, dude. But he doesn't go, hey, get out of here. Scram. He goes like, just get out of here. Like, just get out of my face. I don't want you to leave this room. Just be away, child. And
I like how annoyed he is while saying, I look forward to your story, Wesley, but like, just shut the fuck up right now.
Yeah.
Again, they're treating him like he's like 9, where it's just like, yes, Wesley, very interesting. But it's like, that's what you might talk to a 9-year-old that way.
Yeah.
But like when he's a teenager, he'd be like, can you not see we're in the middle of something fucking crazy right now? Can you like,
he's like Donnie from The Big Lebowski. Donnie, shut the fuck up. So they have this moment, Riker and Wesley, and he's like, just get out of my face. And Wesley's like, well, got to go back to talking to this my favorite person in the world, who's my best bud, this alien dude who I forget the phrase that he used. Like he uses phrase. And it seems important now that I'm thinking about it. That Wesley said these 3 words. It's like blah 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 blah. And the traveler's like, don't repeat that. Don't you fucking repeat that.
Oh, he's talking about
thought, time, and space are all are interconnected.
Yeah, it's like he has this understanding of how warp works. That he's like, you can't tell anyone about that thing. Yeah, which is not.
No one's ready
concept.
for.
And it sounds creepy. Like, hey, don't tell anybody that I touched you.
No one.
And that's how it feels when he says it. That's how it feels.
Okay, here's the way I took it. The way I took it was no one can know that thoughts and prayers can actually do something.
Yeah.
If they know that, oh no,
they'll start wishing for crazy things. Yeah. And so at this point, they try again. They're like, all right, we're gonna try again. We're gonna launch this baby up to 100 miles an hour, and then we'll try to fix it on the road.
Yeah.
And so they launch it again, and it fails. And Luke is like, how fast did we get? He's like, we didn't go past 1.5. What is it? 1.5 warp?
Right.
Oh, yeah. They think the instruments show them going 1.5 warp, but apparently they're going like crazy fast. Like visually, they're going past warp 10. So. And
they're like, nah, it didn't work. We're still in this bum ass fucking place. So let's figure this out. And then Luke goes to the engineering room, and then Worf sees this weird warthog thing.
Yeah.
Well, he looked out the window, and then out the window they were like, "Holy shit! Why are there giant laser cubes flying around?" So first they're like, something really wrong happened.
Yeah. Like first they ended up in this gigantic super galactic glacier.
Yes,
it looks like ice, but with weird little constellation super molecules floating by.
Yeah,
really weird effects.
That looks like quantum realm.
Yeah,
that thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then the Worf sees that weird thing, and it's like his pet from his childhood. And he's like, "Oh,
the Targ."
Yeah, the Targ from my childhood. And then, what's her name?
Tasha Yar.
Tasha. Yeah, Tasha's like, "Oh, like a kitty," and then a fucking cat appears, and then she's like. She's like, oh my god, I was gonna be gang raped by the gang rape gang.
Yeah,
I forgot that it came back. I forgot that they actually depicted a rape gang, called it a rape gang again
visually,
and it amounts to just a bunch of dudes waving flashlights around and laughing.
Yeah,
but also I guess she had left before her current age, so I guess it's just visually. She's that age, but according to her story, to data from The Naked Now, she was much younger.
Yeah,
that would have been a much scarier time.
Yeah, and you're right. In the background, you see the extras. They're literally standing outside the cave and just waving the flashlights around, really frantically.
Yeah,
but not moving at all. They're not moving. We're actually looking for somebody.
They're laughing menacingly, though.
Yeah. And then she wakes up. She's like, "Oh, fucking cat! I was back in the cave and shit, and the rape gangs were gonna get me. And then people start seeing things, and they realize like whatever they think they see. And my first thought was like, you see a lot of things, So like Luke sees his mother, right?
Right. But first he's about to walk out of the lift, the turbo lift, and he almost walks out into space.
Yeah.
And he freaks out. Yeah.
He's like, oh, and he closes his eyes.
Implying that he was just thinking about space?
Yeah. Well, he's a space head.
I guess if he was staring off into space or spacing out, that's a literal interpretation.
Yeah. Also, maybe he was just like, gosh, I forgot. What does normal space look like? I forgot because we're looking at this weird space.
Maybe.
Quantum realm.
You know what? I like that explanation most.
Yeah.
Actually, one more thing. I kept on, like, during this section of all the hallucinations, I kept on getting such strong Cowboy Bebop mushroom hunting vibes.
Oh, well, they are all kind of freaking out, like, separately.
It's kind of like a psychedelic drug trip in a sort of way. And it just made me start wondering, like, did the Bebop crew, like, watch this episode? Like, I just want to know if any of them knew what about this episode before they worked on that show.
I don't think so. I think it's just like because the stuff happening to the other crew, the random crew members that we never see again, like the one playing like violin in a quartet, and then
there's a ballerina.
Oh man, I love when they reveal him like completely alone at like a council table with some orange juice. It's like, what were you even doing there in the first place, dude?
He eats lunch by himself, I guess.
The loneliest Starfleet officer is just.
And he just daydreams. He daydreams about playing in a quartet.
Yeah,
an old timey quartet. Yeah,
yeah.
And then you have there's a ballerina, and then there's the two crew people that are like running down the hall, and they're like, "Oh, Captain, protect us!" And they just run away, but you don't see what they're running away from.
Yeah.
And then you have later you see this one guy who we'll talk about later, but he's like got a fire going.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking nobody in this fucking ship is thinking about people fucking. And you just see people fucking like no one.
We already went through that episode.
Yeah, well,
they're not drunk enough to think about it all the time,
dude. I'm on that ship, and the captain goes, "Hey, just be mindful, whatever you're thinking about. Like
it's gonna
just
happen."
Appears.
And you're like,
and immediately I'm like, boom. There's people fucking everywhere, dude.
It is a bit of an oversight, I'd say.
Yeah. David Lynch would be like, "Oh no, Monica Bellucci," and then she would appear.
It's like
I'm having the Monica Bellucci dream again.
I'm like, there's weed fucking everywhere, and people are fucking in the weed. And no one, everyone think, why is that guy thinking about fire? What, like,
I don't know why I was thinking about fire.
He's just walking through the halls randomly and going, you know what I'm really afraid of? Fire. Oh my god.
Also, why was Luke thinking about his mom at that point? Like, it's just so weird.
It might just be like a moment. That one might be like a moment of crisis sort of thing where he's like,
actually, the first few hallucinations actually seem to fly in the face of the explanation later, because it's like people are seeing nostalgic things that remind them of childhood or whatever. For the most part, it's like, here's my childhood pet. Here's my childhood pet. Here's my horrible like upbringing. But were any of them thinking about it? Really?
Well, the mind does wander, right? I mean, the mind wanders.
But do you always like just idly go back to your pet? Like, I don't know. They all seem surprised that they were seeing
maybe Worf was like, I'm actually very nervous right now, and I don't want to tell anyone. If only my Targ were with me.
He's like, that's how I get rid of erections in this tight suit. Is I think of my childhood pet.
I do want to say it's pretty hilarious how like Worf's depictions thus far have just been like, let's shoot the screen, or I'm gonna fight, or let's all die, or oh my pet, oh I love my old war dog guy.
He's a good boy.
and Luke's going down the hallway and he sees his mom, and then he kneels down to have a conversation with her, and like she sounds like she's got like a weird Eastern European accent.
It doesn't sound French, that's for sure.
Exactly. She doesn't sound British or French.
Yeah. And they're not from the same family. Like they don't share the same accent at all. Yeah. And he calls her Maman, which makes it even more confusing. So it's like, what are you? Yeah. Are you English? German? What's French? What's happening? Like,
I think they were leaning into the ambiguity on purpose at this point.
Maybe in the future Europe is just all mixed together, and it's just like, here's general Europe, but everyone's still proud of being French.
It's like that Perry Bible Fellowship comic of like a depiction of the early 2000s in a movie, like hundreds of years later. and it's like full of like horrible anachronisms where it's like, no, that's not what actually existed at the same time.
Yeah. They don't know when things happen.
And then so Riker shows up and he's like, Captain, and Riker doesn't see anything for some reason. He's a fucking airhead apparently. He doesn't see anything, and he's like, Captain, and he's like, oh, one moment, and then turns around, his mom's gone, and
tired of my
he's
mom,
like,
man, everyone shut up.
Fuck, dude, I didn't have a chance to say goodbye to her. And so Captain gets up and he's like, oh, fuck it, let's go, dude. I lost my mom again. And they walk over to the engineering room and they're like, why can't you figure this out? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then
they have a conversation here that I just want to present, and then there's a funny anecdote about it.
What did you do?
It wasn't him. It never was. It was his assistant.
What are you talking about?
Kaczynski wasn't the one controlling the warp experiments.
It was me.
The equations he punched in were nonsense, just as we thought.
I honestly thought it was me. I thought somehow I was operating on his level.
It was also my fault, Captain. I should have realized it wasn't Kaczynski.
How could you? How could any of us?
Wesley did.
Wesley.
If you knew something, why didn't you say so?
He tried. Twice. I didn't listen.
Oh, if only we had listened to
He's
Wesley.
unconscious. Why?
I'm not certain yet.
He phased, sir.
What does that mean?
Parts of him disappeared and then came back. Nobody else was paying attention to him the first time.
When we saw it this time, he seemed to be struggling, fighting it.
He's dying.
He mustn't. He's the only one who can get us back.
Realistically, that doesn't seem possible.
So that first line that Riker says in that clip, where it wasn't him, it never was, it was his assistant.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Jonathan Frakes had a lot of trouble saying that line on set.
Really?
So yeah, it was really odd. So apparently every time he said that, he couldn't finish a line and just started bursting out laughing. And that became like a problem on set because everyone would start making fun of that. Like Patrick Stewart would start making fun of that. Even the sound mixer, according to the Memory Alpha wiki, like the sound mixer had to like walk off set because he could not stop laughing whenever the line was said because it became such an in-joke.
Yeah.
But it's such an innocuous line. It's just, it wasn't him. It never was.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was his assistant. I don't know. I guess just the repetition of those lines, and he has to say it kind of fast.
Yeah.
Made it a slight tongue twister.
I guess so.
Jonathan Frakes just couldn't say it.
I wonder if
It
it's
sounds,
on
like
the
it sounds like a
outtakes.
Tommy Wiseau like line.
Oh yeah,
It was not him.
Yeah,
it was his assistant.
It never
It never
was.
It never was.
Oh, hi,
He
Data.
always betray me.
He always betrayed me. Haha, it's a funny story, Tasha.
I'm fed up with this galaxy.
Oh, what a great story, Kozinski.
So they're like, well, why didn't you say anything, you fucking bitch, Wesley? Riker's like, dude, this guy tried to tell me 3 times. I ignored him because he's
On
an
your
idiot.
orders.
And this is when I
child.
start
Yeah.
to hate the episode.
Yeah, and then Wesley's like, "Oh, I'm so timid because this might be my dad," and so he's scared and he's like, "Well, what happened?" He's like, "Well, this guy was phasing. This guy was just disappearing." He's like, "Have you not seen Back to the Future? That's what was happening to this guy.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
disappearing and appearing. It's like his parents weren't dancing at the dance, and like he was just phasing."
Oh, I would love
and
to have seen the Traveler like periodically taking out a Polaroid. Just checking it.
And see, this is when I still thought like, man, like this is Wesley, dude. This is old Wesley, and that's why he's phasing because he's too close. He touched himself. His hands got burned. That's why his fingers are all melted together.
Oh man.
And that's why he's got those penguin hands.
Theory crafting.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this is future Wesley, and then he starts like getting all wonky, and he's like, let's get him to the doctor. So they get him to the doctor, and it's Dr. Crusher,
Mm-hmm.
and she seems peaked. in the scene, like she was just running, and like she seems like disheveled a little bit.
Yeah, that's how you know that's how you know the medicine is hard.
Yeah, it was an emergency.
She doesn't know how to treat him. She's disheveled and
I
confused.
love when they come back from a commercial break and Picard is putting on a Captain's Log supplemental. It's like, and now I will explicitly mention that despite his humanoid appearance, we don't know his physiology well enough to dispel the drama of this episode. So calm down, nerds. Don't assume that our medicine's all that great.
Yeah.
I also like when he comes back and from one of those commercial breaks, he goes, Captain's Log, the time doesn't matter anymore.
Oh yeah, that's a great bit right there. It's like, who cares?
We don't know what time we're in. So they can't cure him, and Luke's like, well, fucking wake his ass up. And then she's like, well, we don't know how long he's gonna live. We can't figure out he's a weird alien. We can't even pronounce his name. You think we're gonna fix his body? Can't even say. I've been calling him Tim. And she didn't really call him Tim, but in my head she does. And then everyone's there, and Riker and Luke, and they're like, well, fucking wake this guy up, and old Kaczynski's there too. And so the doctor like pokes his neck with some weird pokey thing, and then he wakes up a little bit. He's like, "Oh, hey, where the fuck am I?" And they're like, "Tell us, like, how do we fix this thing? We're fucked, dude. We're so lost." Yeah. And he's like, he kind of like tells him like, oh, he starts revealing like, "Oh, I'm a traveler. You guys are dumb, and you guys are finally able to like, you guys finally made like a little leeway in like your species like evolution, so we decided to show up, but like you don't know me, but I've been around for a long time. We just think you guys are stupid, and now you kind of aren't, but
you're just barely worth taking a look at.
Yeah. You just came up on our radar, but that's how insignificant you guys are, you idiots. And then he's like, well, how do you know? And then he falls back asleep, and then the doctor punctures his neck again. Boom. Wakes up again, and he's like, yeah, I'll help you. I have enough energy to do this. I'll help you. Just take this thing off. And he's like, but wait, let me talk to Luke alone. And I'm like, whoa, this is creepy again.
Yeah.
It would be a lot creepier if he's like, let me talk to Wesley alone. I just need 5 minutes with Wesley.
Oh, I want to bring up real quick. Like when I forgot who suggested they like take Wesley away, but then Riker's like, no, like keep him around. Like he seemed to have a special connection with the boy. And then Wesley, like, I don't know if it's love or what, but he actually like kind of gets a little catty and just like, my name is Wesley, Commander Riker.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus, like, what a time to be an instant little shit. Like,
what a time to
we
grow
didn't
some balls.
forget what you did 4 episodes ago, okay?
Yeah. You almost killed us, you idiot.
You have no right
to assert himself.
Yeah,
because he's a strong character.
Yeah. And so he's like, and then Captain's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. I want to listen to what this guy has to say. This weird alien pajama man. Right. And so everyone leaves, and he's like, dude.
It's this conversation. Let me bring up the conversation here.
It's Wesley I wanted to speak to you about. The boy? It's best you do not repeat this to the others, especially not to the mother. Whatever happens, it is imperative that it proceed naturally.
I must get my ship back. Do we have time for this?
Oh, yes. He and a few like him are why I travel. You have it in your power to encourage him without interfering.
Encourage him in what?
How shall I explain? Are you familiar with the intricacies of what is called here music?
Somewhat.
And such musical geniuses I saw in one of your ship's libraries, one called Mozart, who as a small child wrote astonishing symphonies. A genius who made music not only to be heard, but seen and felt beyond the understanding, the ability of others. Wesley is such a person, not with music, but with the equally lovely intricacies of time, energy, propulsion, and the instruments of this vessel, which allow all that to be played.
Just keep pushing him for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Basically, he's confirmed that Wesley is Space Mozart.
He's the chosen one.
Yeah.
He's Mozart and the whale.
You know what? I wanted to check real quick. Does anyone can anyone confirm whether or not the song that the violinist Starfleet officer was playing was Mozart or not?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I
Because
can't.
then that would have just
I-
been like a bit of foreshadowing, not necessarily
Yeah,
connected, but it would have been appropriate, probably.
I'm sure it probably was.
Oh, I just looked it up. It is indeed Mozart's Ein klein Nachtmusik.
There you go.
Nachtmusik, I should say.
Yeah.
So it's they're just connecting Mozart together.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because you play the clip and how I was gonna explain it was very fucking different, man. There's a lot of
What?
expletives.
What were you? Oh, well, please, by all means.
No, he's like, this fucking kid's smart, man. This kid's smart. He's got it. Whatever it is, we don't know. You don't know, but he's got it. He's got it in him. Well, what does he have in him? You don't know. He's like a smart genius. He's like a fucking DJ. He's like Skrillex, dude. He's gonna be making some crazy ass music on the ship. Don't.
But with your warp drive.
Yeah, don't keep him down. Put a DJ console on the warp drive and let him fucking dance. Give him some space.
Yeah.
And Luke's like, oh fuck, what I thought that, but fuck, like you could tell like he's working in his head that you're like, damn it, that's what I thought, because he was so smart and he almost killed us all. But if we harness that energy of him killing us and towards good, we got a Dexter here, you know? Well,
like the crazy thing to me about this is that it seems to imply that eventually Wesley will have dominion over reality.
yeah,
Because it's like he understands the interconnected nature of thought, time, and space. Like, I know that's only a couple of the Infinity Stones, but that's enough.
yeah. He is Thanos.
Yeah. He has three. He has half the Infinity Gauntlet already created in his mind.
Yeah,
and that's why the
It's
Traveler's
ludicrous.
like, holy shit.
Absolutely ludicrous.
and it kind of, this is the point of the episode where it kind of reminded me of a little bit about Interstellar, where they're talking about like how like love is what connects us. Stuff and it got a little.
Yeah.
I know Marvin doesn't like this movie, but we won't get into it. And then they're like, and the Traveler's like, well, I'm already in my pajamas, so I might as well help you. and so he goes down to the engineering room, and he's like, all right, now I'm going to stand here where Kaczynski was. And no one's going to stand at that other console where all the magic was happening. No, I'm going to stand over here now. And so he sits down, and Wesley's right next to him. And they got this like loving look. Like we had a moment. Remember when I told you the secret? I told you not to tell anybody. I told you not to tell anybody.
Fucking tell anyone what happened in that nook.
Oh no!
I with my fucking penguin hands.
I can fucking move space and time with my mind.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll fucking get you.
Yeah. I'm fucking wearing pajamas.
I
That's
am
how badass I am.
profoundly uncomfortable.
Man, wait till just a minor spoiler. The Traveler returns.
Oh, really?
So get ready for that. So,
man,
I'm excited.
Is that season like 3 or past that?
It's later.
Okay,
but he definitely returns.
I don't remember him
still wearing
returning, but I
pajamas.
might have seen it. I don't know.
Oh, I don't quite remember, but
new set, Christmas gift.
He returns for Wesley. So,
oh my god, dude.
With flowers,
we didn't have enough,
and an engagement ring.
Yeah,
no, he returns. He returns with a threat. Yeah,
now that you're of age.
He's like, just to let him know, like, I've been keeping eyes on you. This is just a check.
By the way, Wesley, I am pregnant.
And this is your baby. So then like the captain's like, all right, we're gonna fucking do this. I can't believe we're gonna do this, but happy thoughts, guys. Oh, happy thoughts.
Literally everyone.
No, that's literally the thoughts and prayers, everyone, over the intercom.
He says either think happy thoughts or concentrate on your work.
Yeah.
Whichever one.
Well, it's like concentrate on your work or think happy thoughts about this Traveler dude. And
most of you were like, you don't even know what he looks like.
Him.
Yeah.
What if we think?
Like a lot of the like half the Enterprise like population is just civilians, so they're probably like who just. We're all travelers.
They're usually pretty
What's
poor about like
travelers?
maintaining that or successfully depicting that dynamic on the Enterprise. It's like citizens are so like not really there.
But it's actually like a huge because it's like one thing that people always mistake Star Trek things for. Like they just assume they're warships, especially modern Star Trek. Just assumes everything's just warships. It's like, no, they're actually like exploration vessels that have weapons on board just in case, because space is dangerous.
Yeah, it's like it's literally a floating colony.
Yeah, but yeah, it's essentially a colony. Like they're traveling. Like some of them are families of crew members, but a lot of them are just like, well, we want to go along with the Enterprise because it's space exploration. And when they land on different planets and whatnot, it's like a cruise ship. They get off, they look around, and they go, "This is really cool." And then they just do that for a few years, and this is just an exploration adventure. Because in the future, no one has to have a job because there's no such thing as money anymore. So everyone just kind of just does this if they want to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so then they're like, happy thoughts towards the traveler. Can you imagine like being a civilian on the Enterprise? And
Yeah.
It's like, think happy thoughts. And then someone's like, are they talking about Blues Traveler, that old timey 20th century band? Is he on this shit with his fucking harmonica?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I run around. It's a good song.
Is that what you're talking about?
It's a great song. I really wish that they had like just put up a bunch of like pictures of the traveler on screens all around.
Yeah, this is the guy.
This
Think
is like
good thoughts about him.
And everyone's like, why is he wearing pajamas?
Tell him he's a handsome boy.
Yeah.
Who?
And so then he's doing his thing with his fucking penguin hands. He's touching things very slowly, and then at one point he gets really weak, and you start hearing music over the scene. Now you're like, you're hearing your beautiful, beautiful strings, and then he gets weak at one point, and then Wesley just reaches over ever so kindly and just holds his hand.
Yeah, so gingerly holds his hand.
Tenderly.
And not like a handshake or like, hey, usually like, okay, so the general like, hey, someone's crying, or like I acknowledge it, you're in pain, or the general thing is you reach out with your right or left hand and you either put it on someone's hand or you embrace their hand. But this was the weirdest fucking touching of hands that I've never experienced.
They're mutually grasping each other.
It's like these two alien beings that are like, oh, we're not used to limbs. What do we do with these limbs? Oh, let's touch. That's how it felt like. Let's touch, see what happens. And they touch ever so slightly, and then the traveler's like looks at him like, yeah, that's what I needed, dude. A little Wesley touch, if you know what I mean. And then he's back at it, and then as as they're going 100 miles an hour, and he's fixing the ship while they're going that fast, he phases out, and they're like, well, he fixed it, but he phased out, man. He's gone forever. Back to wherever pajama planet he's from. And they're like, yeah, we did it. And they slow down and they're like, did we do it? And they're like, yeah, we did it, man. We're back. And then Luke gets back to the bridge and he's like, all right, so where are we going next? There's no like what the fuck? That was crazy, right? Let's figure out like where did we go?
Let's take a second to calm down and absorb what happened.
Let's call in. Let's call the home base and fucking tell them about this shit.
Yeah,
this
they're like, dude,
shit.
we just went to the edge of the universe. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
dude.
they don't say anything to anybody.
No, literally Luke is like, so where we're going next? Oh, these are the coordinates. Fuck it, punch it, man. Let's do it.
Like you should probably at least you would tell like other spaceships like, hey, if this traveler guy shows up, he can literally bring you to the edge of the universe. Everyone watch out.
Yeah. Just careful. Don't leave your fucking children around him because he'll fucking touch them. He didn't warn anybody. And then what happened to Kaczynski? They just left him there.
Yeah, they're just like
probably tossed him
out. The weird part is that during the whole like we're gonna warp back to where we came from thing. It's clearly the traveler doing everything, but then the traveler goes, "No, I do need you, Kaczynski. You sit there, and do something.
Provide me cover."
Happy thoughts. Yeah.
Like I originally thought the point of because the traveler hints earlier on where Wesley was like, "You're just doing all of this, aren't you?" And he goes, "No, technically the Kaczynski has some credit." Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought what that is that, because Kaczynski believes that he's doing it, it actually happens. Right. Because thoughts literally change time and warp.
Sure. Yeah.
But at this point, Kaczynski knows he's a fraud.
Yeah. And then totally isn't working there.
Yeah. Is he just there for moral support? Or maybe because the traveler told him, I do need you. Kaczynski believes he might have a big enough ego to go, I am needed.
Yeah,
I must be helpful in some way. I must be able to help him. I don't know. It was, or the traveler could just be nice.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
Actually, I did want to bring up something very quickly. When Picard is addressing the entire ship, about sending positive thoughts and things like that.
Mhm.
There's a shot where we see a male Starfleet officer in a full dress skirt uniform,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
he looked to me like, is that John Cho?
Yeah,
He looks so
for
much
a
like
second,
John
I
Cho.
thought, yeah, I totally thought it was John Cho.
And so
obviously that's
I
not.
typed fiercely like, was John Cho in like an extra or a cameo, and like, because if that were true, it would be on the internet somewhere, and I could not find any evidence
Oh,
of
yeah.
it being true.
Yeah, and then he came up in Star Trek the movie.
Yeah, that would have been like
Yeah.
a really interesting story had it been true, but no, it's just that Asians all look alike.
Yeah.
We're Asian, by the way. We can say shit like that. So
you're like I got.
Yeah, as far as you know, I'm Asian.
It's in the Magna Carta. It's in the Magna Carta. We can say things like that.
Not Ricardo though. Ricardo, you fucking say that.
Yeah. I can say things about Mexicans though.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough. We'll stay in our lanes. We'll stay in our racist lanes.
Yeah. I really love this episode. It was great. I loved it. I just don't know what happened to Kaczynski. There's a lot of things wrong with that episode, but overall I liked it because of the themes that it involved,
Right.
and like the fact that like humanity's a piece of shit fucking race.
Yeah.
And I totally believe that. So
we forgot the most important part that happens in the show. Wesley gets promoted to acting.
Oh yes,
ensign.
sorry.
True.
Yes.
True.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. How did we forget that?
So now
This
he
is the
has
part-
full bridge priprivileges.
This is the part,
If you know
where
what I mean.
The Traveler's not dead anymore, but
Yeah.
oh my. Okay, this is the part where I really go fuck Wesley, because it's
Yeah.
like it's just like, do you understand what you just did, Picard? Like he what is he, 13 years old?
Yeah.
In the show, like the character. Imagine promoting a 13-year-old to be like a private in the military. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
He's like, hey,
big surprise. The coach's son is the quarterback.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, and the Traveler also told him, hey, don't over encourage him, right? Like, don't tell him that you are Space Jesus, right? Don't tell him that. Let him figure that out on his own. But I feel like promoting him to ensign is too much too. Like,
and so fast.
That would get to his head, wouldn't it? Like, he'd be like, wow, I get to be ensign without even entering Starfleet and basically going to a military academy in order to learn everything I need to know about being a starship officer. Like, because he's an ensign is an officer of the ship. Like people like Miles O'Brien or like the chief engineer and like Argyle and stuff, they're not enlisted officers. They're crew members. They're like basically staff.
Yeah, like
it's
if
hired.
they started become like a cadet or something, that would feel a little more appropriate.
That would have felt way more appropriate. We couldn't be like, you're an acting Starfleet cadet now.
Mm-hmm.
We can get you started on your education now. But they make him an ensign, which is essentially, he technically, correct me if I'm wrong, internet people, but I think he technically outranks engineering. Because he's an ensign and he's an officer.
Oh, would he?
Because he's an officer. That's what an ensign is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about military hierarchy, so I wouldn't know.
I think at least in the world of Star Trek. So it's like, why would you do that? Like, you could have just like Dan said, make him a cadet.
Yeah.
Or just say, you know what? We'll just let you have bridge privileges again. You actually helped out a lot today, and it would be really unfair of me to just say, get the fuck out of here again. Yeah. They could have even tied it into, well, the last time we decided not to listen to you, we almost all got trapped in the edge of the universe forever. So maybe we could start listening to you now. You know, that would have been a good way to.
I mean, I don't know. We're still weighing this against how he nearly got everyone killed with his ideas before. So it's like Wesley's not on like the high ground here.
No. By the way, Gene Roddenberry's middle name, I've learned, is Wesley.
There you go.
Oh boy.
That'll do it.
And Gene Roddenberry, I've learned, has said on the record that Wesley is directly inspired by when he was a child.
Okay.
So this is basically Gene Roddenberry declaring himself to be Space Mozart on national broadcast television.
Well, to be fair, he did create Star Trek.
Yes, but also the show got much better. TNG got much better once he stopped being directly involved in Star Trek. The first season is, by most accounts, the worst season. And after that, he stopped being a direct producer and just kind of on the side, kind of like a Matt Groening sort of thing for The Simpsons. And the show got much better, coincidentally.
Actually, you'd be surprised at how much direct involvement Matt Groening had throughout The Simpsons' first 15 seasons or so.
No, I mean like today, Matt Groening. I mean more of like how today he doesn't really like care that much anymore. It's sort of a factory now, and he checks in every once in a while to like
his attention would ebb and wane depending on whether or not he has another show to worry about.
Yeah, like a Futurama or a Disenchantment. Then he would like.
There you go.
Yeah, or maybe even like a Seth MacFarlane, who was like, Cleveland show is all set up. I don't really need to pay that much attention. We just let it run. That type of thing. Yeah. So I don't know. It's that's the main disappointing thing about the episode to me, is that it's a giant jerk off fest for Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, you could actually argue
in several ways.
You could kind of argue like it also parallels Star Wars to an extent with George Lucas.
Okay, is Anakin supposed to be a George Lucas?
Who knows? I mean,
I don't know.
Interesting.
But I mean, in the parallel that I'm thinking of though is that like Star Wars was always at its best when George Lucas had the least input.
That's true. I mean, but I think for Star Trek, it's less a matter of because Star Trek, he was very involved with the first series, right? And that obviously did well. And I think that was because of him. I think the thing is just that as time went on, he just became crazier. And
if you're of a certain generation, the progress you can make as a member of that generation is usually limited to some degree.
Yeah, if you're not willing to like change.
Yeah, like
right?
as progressive as he wanted to be, as we've discussed before, he could fail or be flawed in his attempts. So
yeah, if you stay stuck in your ways. So there's also that, but it's not a Frank Miller by any means where he just flew off the rails. But I do think there was like a bit of like, I'm fucking Gene Roddenberry. I get to do what I want. I get to talk about Ferengis with huge dicks. That's what I'm going to talk about.
Authority figures and older people used to tell me to shut up when I was a kid. And now here's a character who is going to give them what's coming to him. It's like, I'm smarter than them. He's right. You should listen to him.
Yeah, all these Hollywood executives told me Star Trek would never take off. Now look at me.
Take that, Mrs. Justice.
But yeah, we almost glossed over that point. He's an officer now. He's an officer and a gentleman because the alien's a gentleman.
Mm-hmm. And he just awkwardly sits on the side of the bridge.
Yeah, and they're like, you want to go tell your mom?
Is it?
No,
I think it's like a bench.
Like he awkwardly leans against the rail.
Yeah. That's weird.
And then they're like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's go to the next thing. Let's not tell anybody what happened.
We have a busy schedule. This really put us back on our schedule.
Basically.
We really gotta. So Ricardo.
Yeah.
Out of 10 starships, what would you?
This was really good. I like the themes of it, but again, it had Wesley in it, so I had to factor that in.
But follow your heart. Follow
my heart. I'm gonna go with like an 8.
Okay.
All right.
How about you, Dan?
There's somewhere to go, but it's still high.
Alrighty.
Dan.
My favorite parts of this episode are the bits where they, the spacey stuff about going too fast and ending up in uncharted places. That stuff's cool.
Yeah, right.
And of course, Wesley is the souring bit to everything. So, it kind of seesawed into a 7 for me.
Yeah, I'm going with a 7 too, just because like I think of the episode more of like a standard good episode until they evangelize Wesley, and then I go, that's where you lose me. It's why I'm like kind of excited to eventually get to see. It's going to be a little while, but eventually we'll get to season 2, and that's when Gene Roddenberry kind of steps off and Wesley stops being pushed for SummerSlam so hard, and it becomes the show gets to grow into more of what the other. Because Wesley, every time he shows up, he becomes such a central character.
Yeah, that's true, and
really
that's
annoying.
A problem. Always a problem.
Yeah, it's like it's annoying that is one of your biggest characters. Like, show me more Picard, Riker, Geordi, like other Data, more interesting things happening.
Yeah.
Even Worf yelling. Eventually we'll get to episodes where Worf is a huge thing happening. Those are interesting. Wesley being a child genius is not super interesting. It's like, we get it. He's super smart. That's it.
Yeah, it really isn't. Like, if you set this up, like, you're kind of setting yourself up for a very boring trajectory.
Yeah, because he's just a Mary Sue. He just keeps getting better and better.
I mean, that's
like,
been the classic criticism like forever.
Yeah, because he's basically the only flaw is that when he gets drunk, he becomes a terrorist. That's his only flaw.
Well, it's a big flaw. It's a big flaw.
To be fair, it's a pretty big flaw.
And but also to be fair, a lot of people did terrorist things while they were drunk, so it wasn't just him.
Sure.
I mean, there's a Supreme Court justice who did this. He's Wesley, basically.
Oh, boy.
If only we still had.
So let's tie it all back together from the beginning.
Dude. Oh, Judge Bork was the original Borkbuster. Or actually, the Senate of the time was the original Borkbuster.
Supreme Justice Wesley Crusher.
Oof.
Crusher, I hardly know her.
Did you not, Wesley Crusher? You want to be Supreme Court Justice? Did you or did you not
endanger the lives
hold
of
the whole the whole of the whole of the Enterprise? No, well, I was hanging out with my friend Gooch and Data, and like we little things got out of hand a little bit. Who hasn't? Who doesn't have a friend named Gooch?
Wesley, did you ever touch someone named the Traveler?
Yeah.
Did they ever touch you?
Did you hold secrets for him?
Did you ever hold hands with him?
Oh God!
Oh
gosh!
No, this has gotten. We've taken this too far. This has become.
No, it's just the right amount of far. We're at the edge of the universe, but not off of it. Yeah. This was an interesting episode because I like the themes, but not so much the Pajama Man.
Oh boy. Anyway, that was Where No One Has Gone Before. Our next episode is Lonely Among Us. I don't remember that episode either. We're starting to get into episodes where I don't quite remember what these were until I see them, and then I go, "Oh, right, that's the thing."
Not to bring video games back into discussion, but I'm about to bring video games back into discussion.
Yes.
Among Us is currently fairly hot on Twitch and things like that, and I'm wondering, is there any element of unseen imposters or betrayal in this episode coming up?
Oh yes, there is actually, and I just remembered.
Oh, so
it actually is some. There's a lot of subterfuge happening.
All right, so who knows? Maybe we are about to stumble upon a source of inspiration.
Anyway,
speaking of inspiration, this is a great time to talk about sweet, sweet ease. If you like the flavor of sour diesel or cookie base camp or any sort of sour sativa, whole flour hybrids, then go ahead and get some stuff off of Ease. They're a great service and they have great products. Orange Creamsicle, African Queen, Larry OG, Sunset Sherbet. They got all the greats. Go check them out. And if you like what you see, tell them, hey, sponsor these guys. These guys love your product.
There have to be strains named after Star Trek shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's Skywalker for sure.
That's Star Wars, though.
Yeah, but I mean, there's got to be a Star Trek. If there's a Star Wars, there's got to be a Star Trek. So I will. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that for homework.
All right.
And then the next episode, I'm going to come back and I'm going to find the Star Trek strain of marijuana for you guys.
Smoke it.
Yeah. See, and that's the missing link. That's what's keeping Ease away. We need.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We're giving it away too easily, though. We need
to have these discussions off recording.
And also we gotta let Ease know that, hey, you should do your because you got your pitch down pretty pat now.
Yeah.
But
you
gotta cut yourself off in the middle and be like, see, Ease, if
there's your free sample.
We'd finish this spot for you.
Or maybe start mispronouncing Ease on purpose. Be like, well, if you pay me, I'll say it for real.
Yeah.
Knees.
Yeah. I love knees. Oh, it's not knees? Well, if you paid us, it would be correct. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Sweet taste of sour diesel.
The sweet taste of sour diesel?
Yeah.
Sour taste of...
Yeah.
That was Where No One Has Gone Before. And the next episode will be Lonely Among Us. If you guys have been enjoying the podcast, you can check out the other episodes at newbiestartrek.com. That's NEWBIE StarTrek.com. Ricardo, Dan, and I also do another podcast every once in a while. It's called Fugitive Frames Film Podcast. Ricardo, do you want to give us a little summary of what that's about?
We do recommendations. We'll do our list of like favorite 1980s movies. We pick a topic and we list our movies. Sometimes we do recommendations. It depends on the week. We're on a little bit of a break while we catch up on some work, but we'll be back at the end of October with a new episode. So
heck yeah, dude! I'm looking forward to it because it's been a little while.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, I guess Dan, Ricardo, and I also, and Marcel, if you're unfortunate enough, no, that's fucked up.
Sick burn.
Take that,
Marcel's
Marcel.
cool guy. That was a cheap jab at him for no reason.
I don't even know you, Marcel.
He's well, we all and Sarah too, I guess, because she's joined us on our Phoenix Wright LP.
Yeah, true.
We're all running a Let's Play channel on the YouTube called Fugitive Games. We do, Let's Plays. Sometimes we do reviews. We're doing some compilations. There's some like fun little mini bites of what we've done up on the channel as well. So if you want to check that out, you can go to Fugitive Games on YouTube, or in your URL blah 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 field, just type in fugitive.games. That's a URL, so you can just go there directly. Also, I'm just gonna. I haven't pitched this before on this podcast, so I'm just gonna pitch it really quick. Me, Marvin, I technically have a movie out right now. If you guys are interested, it's called A Knight's Tour. It has nothing to do with Star Trek, and it has nothing to do with A Knight's Tale. It is A Knight's Tour. Basically, it is a post-apocalyptic fiction. It's a feature. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Tubi if you want to watch it for free, but with commercials. You can see it on Tubi. And if you like some character-driven stuff, and I don't know, it's distributed by a distribution company called Terror Films. It's kind of a spooky month right now, so maybe that. It's not spooky at all. It's not a spooky movie at all.
No.
If you like the sweet taste of character studies, then go on ahead and go check this movie out. A Knight's Tour.
Yeah, A Knight's Tour. You just check it.
I'm
only bringing it up now. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm only bringing it up now because we're entering different quarter. It was just a little behind the scenes stuff. They every quarter is like a different like sales thing, and they're like, oh, they did a little promo push for it and blah blah. Don't worry about it. Just go watch the movie.
Watch the movie.
Or if you like the movie,
I want to hear more about these metrics.
Yeah, tell us more.
Yeah. If you like the movie, give it a rating. Also, if you don't like the movie, give it a rating and I actually
engage
kind
with
of
it. God damn it!
Yeah. But to be totally honest, I actually kind of enjoy the negative reviews. I like reading them. They're kind of funny.
What I love are the reviews that approach it as though it was supposed to be a horror movie. Because distributing it.
Yeah, because like sometimes it comes up as horror in the horror category. Sometimes it doesn't. Like if you go to Letterboxd, it doesn't come up as horror. It comes up as drama, and which it is. But there's actually a really funny review on Letterboxd where someone's like, "Yeah, this guy obviously wanted Lawrence Fishburne as the character of Henry," and I'm like, "No." I didn't, but sure.
Well, you are a huge Matrix mark, so maybe just subconsciously you really wanted Lawrence Fishburne.
I wrote it for Lawrence Fishburne.
I like to think that there's some weird penguin hand man that's like checking your metrics. He's like a console,
checking his really Polaroid picture every few seconds.
He's like, yes, this movie is.
No, but then he watches the movie and he's like, "This is not the thing I traveled for," and he leaves.
I thought Lawrence Fishburne was in this movie.
Yeah, damn
it. Okay, that's enough for pitching. We'll see you guys next time with Lonely Among Us. It'll be fun. And until then, see you guys next time. Have a great time. We'll see you again. Yay!
Take care, y'all.
Star Treks.
Take care. That's the most important part. Everyone take care.
And think positively. You'll make it happen.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, dude. Thoughts and prayers, dude.
Bye.
Yeah.